So the big question recently has been about Google+. What is it? Is Google+ a social network? Is it a platform for sharing and curating content? I mean, what's the whole point of this place? You know, lately it's been characterized as a social network, much like Facebook and Twitter. Now, when I think of Facebook, I think of a place where I connect with people I already know. My friends, my family members, people I went to college with, because that's when I started using Facebook. However, with Twitter, I think of that a little bit differently. I think of that as a network where I follow people that I'm interested in. Twitter is a network about following. It introduced us to the idea that we might want to know what's up with people that we don't necessarily know. Popular celebrities, people that write blogs, sports figures, people like that. Then, out of the blue, comes this social network called Google+. Now, is it really a social network though? Because that's what we keep calling it. Google+ operates a little bit differently than Facebook and Twitter. With Facebook, in order for somebody to be your friend, you have to confirm their invitation to become their friend. You'll see a notification saying, so-and-so wants to be your friend. Will you accept them? That's different with Twitter and with Google+. Now with Twitter, you can lock your account and make only certain people able to follow you. However, with Google+, anyone can follow you. Anyone can follow anything and everything that you post publicly. In fact, they don't even need to be a member to find your public posts. They're available in search results. So since Google+ is different than both Twitter and Facebook, because if you decide to post something public, it's public, how does that change the way Google+ acts as a social network? What are you supposed to share? What are you supposed to talk about on Google+? There have been a bunch of people talking about curating content. Photographers are absolutely huge on Google+. People share news articles, they share their own blog posts, their videos on YouTube, but they're sharing more content on the internet than updating their status. Now, when I think of Facebook or Twitter, I think of people telling me what they're up to, like, hey, we're going out to the bar tonight. If you want to come along. Now, normally that would only get posted to your friends. That wouldn't be posted for the entire internet to see. Now, of course, you can change your privacy settings using any of the social networks. For example, if you lock your account on Twitter, the only people that can see that are the people that have accepted or that you've approved, basically, that you've vetted to see what you post on Twitter. Now with Facebook, you're only going to be posting that to your friends unless you post something publicly. But I think they still need an account anyway. I seriously still don't know how the privacy settings work on Facebook. Maybe you can explain those in the comments. Now with Google+, you're given an option. You can share things with different circles. You can either share things publicly with your extended circles, meaning the circles of other people that know the circles that know your circles. So somehow you have to be connected. There's no clear answer as to how you're connected. You just have to be connected somehow. But you can also share things with individual circles or individual people. Now, why would you want to do that? One of the more difficult things about Google+ that people haven't really figured out yet is limited sharing. Limited sharing is when I write a post like, hey, I really enjoyed the article you wrote in the newspaper today. And let's say I have a friend that works for the newspaper and his name's Sam Harris. All I have to do is either plus mention him in the post or tag him in the bottom with who I'm going to share it with. As long as he's the only name in the bottom of the post that appears that I'm sharing it with, he's the only one that'll be able to see that post. Now, it makes perfect sense to you and me because we're geeks. You're geeks because you're watching this. If you weren't watching this, then you're not a geek. But you might want to be a geek. But anyway, it's easy for us to figure out. But if you're brand new to the network, it's not really that easy to figure out. I mean, you actually have to put some thought into it every time you go to post something. So if you're going to be posting things to your friends and your family, and your friends and your family aren't there, are you going to want to share that type of stuff? Probably not. I mean, I don't know about you. I don't like talking in an empty room. Well, I'm talking in an empty room right now, but there's a camera, so that's going to you, but that's another story. What would make Google+ more effective and make it more widely adopted is obviously if more people were here. If the people you knew, your friends, the people you work with, your family. Now, clearly, you probably don't want to communicate with everyone on social media. In fact, you might not want to communicate with anyone. You might just want to meet random people on the internet, and that's great because that seems to be what it's doing right now. Google+ is an incubator for new connections, new relationships, and discovering intriguing content. That's a great idea, but is that business model going to hold? Or is Google+ just going to become another niche product that dissolves when they decide to revamp their lineup of products. The question of communities has come along. As a community, is it our job to make Google Plus as a product better? Or is it Google's job? The marketing we've seen on TV indicates mostly Hangouts. We've seen the Muppets hang out, we've seen people watching basketball in Hangouts, and we've seen people doing high-definition video teleconferencing from their Google Nexus phone, which if you've ever done a Hangout from a 4G phone, you know that's really far from the truth. So maybe Google should be a little more accurate in its marketing. Recent news articles by CBS News, The Wall Street Journal, and the New York Times take some pretty harsh takes on Google. And most of the media that I've seen about Google Plus is pretty negative, like Google Plus is a failure, or why Google Plus won't last. You know, I can't think of all the names of the headlines. Or Google Plus is a ghost town, which was a story written in the Wall Street Journal about information from ComScore based on the usage of Google Plus, stating that people were only using it for 3 minutes a month. Now, if you're anything like me, you know that you use the network way more than 3 minutes a month, and a lot of people you interact with probably do too. But that's beside the point. The point is the general public isn't here. Now, if they have an account and they count for one of the 100 million people that are here, that's great, but they're not doing anything. They're not sharing anything. They're not participating. So how can Google get more people to participate in Google Plus? How can Google get your friends, your family members, and your classmates here on this network? Instead of saying it's broken and it's not going to work and it's terrible, why don't we come up with a solution? Who knows? Maybe they'll listen. I'm Peter G McDermott. You can check out more of my great content on my blog, petergmcdermott.com, and check out G Plus interviews. Each Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific, I'll be interviewing a very incredible person and asking your questions. You'll have a chance to participate towards the end of the interview, where I'll invite 8 other people in to ask questions to whoever's being interviewed that week. But the question remains, how can we fix this? Maybe we can't fix it, but maybe Google can. What's your suggestion? What's your fix? What's your solution? Leave your answers in the comments below, or post your own videos. Send me a link. I'd love to start a conversation with you about how Google Plus can be adopted by the rest of the world. Until we find out that, I'll see you guys later in the stream.